This morning, outrage over the Pope's decision to remove a conservative Texas bishop, one of his most vocal critics in the U.S. hierarchy. They did not cite a reason for the dismissal, but Bishop Joseph Strickland has accused the Vatican of embracing woke policies, calling out the Pope for undermining the Catholic faith. He was asked to resign on Thursday, but he refused. Now he's been forcibly removed. Our next guest says this is a terrible treatment of a very holy man. Fox News contributor Raymond Aroyo joins us next. So Raymond, why don't you just break down what's happening here? Because it's a big news in Catholic world, and so some of our viewers want to just kind of understand the context of this.
Look, people inside and outside the Catholic Church will remember Bishop Strickland recently when the Dodgers had the Sisters of Perpetual Indulgence, those drag queens, be honored. It was Strickland who was the only bishop to lead the prayer service there, okay? But he has been outspoken, and I don't like the idea of even describing him as conservative because some of his positions may fall outside of conservatism. I would describe him as a traditional Catholic bishop defending traditional teachings on marriage and life and the sanctity of marriage and the totality of the human person and what you're called to do. So he has been an apostle on that. Open-throated, he's in the media, but a holy and good man. And to show that, this guy's got 21 men in formation in his seminary. In a diocese of 55,000 people, he raised $2 million in a matter of months with his bishop's appeal. So everything was humming along in Tyler. What was happening is I think you had partisans, progressives, who didn't like what he was doing, and they didn't like his visibility. So for whatever reason, a Vatican investigation was kicked off over the summer, and they sent in, Rachel, just to be perfectly blunt, some of the worst people you could imagine. I mean, one of the investigators was a retired bishop from Tucson, a guy named Gerald Kikanis. This guy was accused, and it's verified, he ordained a sexual abuser after learning of the abuse. Why would you allow this character to come in and investigate a good man like Strickland? Blows my mind. But for whatever reason, the Pope has decided to remove Bishop Strickland.
But you say whatever, okay, but you say whatever reason. What is the reason? Is it because he's traditional? Is it because he criticized him? Is the Pope that thin-skinned?
Well, there's a pattern of this. I'll let you and the viewers interpret this. Bishop Holly, Martin Holly, in Memphis, another Orthodox bishop, removed. He claims he was removed because Donald Wuerl, the ex-Cardinal of Washington, wanted him out of the picture. You have a Bishop, Daniel Torres, in Puerto Rico. He was recently removed. Why? He told his people you don't have to get the vaccines. It's morally illicit not to get the vaccines. And they said, well, you're out of communion with the other bishops. Guess what? St. Paul corrected St. Peter. And maybe it's time for people to rise up and simply speak out and say, this is what Christ teaches. This is what the church teaches. And if you're going to remove bishops, you have to provide an explanation to the people of God. You say you want to listen to the people. We had this whole synodal meeting in Rome over the last few months. Nobody ever heard about it except, a few people in Catholicism. But they claim they want to walk with the people, listen to the people. You got to speak to the people, too, and explain to us why you're removing our shepherds. This is really...
Well, apparently they don't want
to... unjust, I think.
Apparently they don't want to hear, Raymond, from traditional or Orthodox Catholics, and that's a problem. I mean, I think about... and that's the next question I have. You have the FBI going after traditional Catholics. The Pope said nothing. Now you have the Pope going after a bishop who really, aligns with traditional Catholics. So what are traditional Catholics in America? What should they take away from all of this? What's the future for the American church? Which, if you go to any parish, it's the traditional ones that are booming, and the less thriving. Go ahead.
Well, I always say the bishops, some bishops and the Pope, I think, are trying to get themselves out of business. By moving the church so far into the progressive column, they alienate the only faithful people who are going to come and support you. But here's the reality. The church was founded to save souls, okay? It is not to be a groupthink exercise. It is not to get everybody to march in lockstep with your opinion on vaccines or the climate. That's immaterial. It's about the salvation of souls and the protection of the doctrine that Jesus Christ himself handed to the apostles. You either believe that or you don't. Bishop Strickland was, I think, attempting to do that. If there was an administrative difficulty, then they should have corrected him on that. But it's very unclear. Nobody's giving answers here. But you're only supposed to remove a bishop when there's a sexual malfeasance or deep corruption. That was not the case. That doesn't seem to be what happened here. You have a disagreement on doctrine. That is not reason, canonically or otherwise, to remove a bishop, the bishops of the U.S. should speak out, because tomorrow it could be them on the frying pan. We'll see what happens.
That is an excellent point. We'll see if they have the courage. Raymond Aroyo,
Indeed.
thanks for joining us, and happy anniversary.
Thank you.
All right. Thanks, Raymond.